Hey guys, Naresh here from My Producer Journey, sharing about creativity, productivity and capability. One of the things I've been trying to develop as a capability is journaling. So if you've been following me for the last couple of weeks or you're watching these as replays, you'll see that I picked up a new practice and I'm trialing for the next couple of months a daily entry into the Mind Journal, which comes with 3 months roadmap to get you into the habit of journaling, and journaling in a way that kind of helps you to develop, to know who you are. And I guess this week's entry is about knowing who you are. I found that when I researched about journaling in the past, and even so recently, if you just look at journaling for the last 30 days and some of the big YouTubers here who have practiced that, you often find that there's a bit of a theme there around journaling to help manage stress or anxiety. And I felt that actually I didn't really come at this from that angle. And I wondered that will other people be thinking that actually journaling is really for just managing stress or anxiety, or a tool to just help the mind state. But if you don't have, or you can't relate to any of those types of feelings or issues, then perhaps you may feel that journaling isn't for you. And I actually thought that that's a bit of a issue there. I'm not quite sure if that's the message or that people might be getting from this, but this is what I wanted to share on this video. This week's entries in the Mind Journal have been very much about self-development. They're not so much about issues that I've been facing as they were last week. This week's entries have been a bit more about my strengths and weaknesses and looking at how I can capitalize on them and how I can develop them. So more of a self-development week this week, and thinking about who I am and what my strengths and weaknesses are, to what my fears are and how I can overcome them. A real reflective week, but a one that actually is developing me as a person. And I thought that actually, this is topics that have been covered in here are going to be covered if you went to any self-help, self-development class, to be better in how you are as a person, more confident and more and that's not to say that you have issues in confidence, but it's just being more confident, or just knowing yourself so that you're a much more rounded person and you know where you can develop, where you can sharpen your skills. And I think, for some of us who are in corporate jobs, will have come across this year upon year, looking back at your previous year, reflecting on your goals and objectives, and thinking about where you can make them better. I mean, this isn't really related to anxiety or stress management. This is just pure self-development. And I think, one of the biggest benefits I found this week's journaling is thinking about this very early on in the year and tying this back to my vision board, tying this back to my goals, and really bringing the whole end-to-end vision together. Because if I want to achieve something and manifest something, then I really need to be clear on that vision. I need to be clear on then the goals and then what they are, the details behind them, and then more importantly, scheduling them in. And this is where I've really fallen down in the past as one of my weaknesses. I can, think of these things in my mind, but then committing pen to paper and to dates and then to time and then to really getting those tasks and activities done, is kind of where I fall over. And this week's been just about really thinking about that and how I can improve them, really questioning me, why aren't I doing this? What's holding me back? What are my fears? And I guess, when thinking about my fears, one of them is really being perfect. I know it sounds cliche, but one of my biggest thing is not knowing enough and perhaps being critiqued in a certain area of my hobby here, around music production, or whether when I put out just a jam on some of the equipment, then I feel that perhaps I don't know enough, and then the whole imposter syndrome comes in. So you may be thinking, yeah, okay, Naresh, this is probably something I could feel I could relate to, and so we're always forever trying to get ready to come out here and prepare and play, and forgetting that actually it's part of the journey is learning through those mistakes. Part of the journey is just shipping out what you've got and then taking what feedback you get and then moving on. And it makes me think about IT. If any of you work in this field, we have methodologies, and the common one that some of you may have come across is Agile. And the whole fundamental principle there is that we iteratively develop the idea. We ship the minimal viable product, which is the very least thing that we can pass off as, you know, the customer or the product owner here. I'm kind of going off topic here, sorry. But the person who is closest to the product would say, yes, I'm happy with this. And it doesn't need to be the finished product. It doesn't need to be the 100%. It just needs to be good enough to be able to get out and then go back and then say, right, how can we refine again? So it made me think in many directions that I'm aware of certain methodologies out there from my corporate and career experience, and this journaling at the moment is making me think, well, why aren't I using that? Why aren't I using those sort of tools and techniques to achieve what I want to achieve here? I'm trying to grow this channel and share about 3, I guess, themes, and using this as a launch pad really to get into understanding myself, but the goals I have, and work out how I can manifest, you know, the vision here. But it's certainly not something then, I guess, for those that are just dealing with anxiety issues. Sure, I'm not denying that the journal here, you know, doesn't help with that. It certainly does. There's a component of it, but I guess what it's shining a light on here is that journaling doesn't necessarily just have to be a brain dump of how you're feeling, a dialogue with yourself that can be negative. It actually can be the opposite of actually looking at your strengths and weaknesses and seeing what areas you need to develop on, what goals you can hang off that, what activities you can hang off those goals, and so forth. And I think that's the point of this video this week, in that journaling isn't just about putting whatever's in your mind out there. Sure, it has an element of that, and you can do that as well. There are different types of journaling, I guess. But one of the ones I've been introduced through to this is there are the facets to this. There are the areas that you can actually look at yourself from. And I think that's really healthy. I think there should be a healthy balance here that recognizes who you are and where you are, and how you can then develop from those. And if nothing else, giving you the right questions to then go out and ask. I think often that's the first problem, and we don't really know what to ask if we don't know, you know, where we are. You know, and I think this gives you some of the basic questions to then go off, and then take it from there. Well, I'll leave it there for now. Join me on the 4th week next week. I hope you're finding this useful. Leave a comment like always, or DM me and subscribe, and I shall see you on the next one. Take care, stay safe, and all the best. Bye bye.